Floyd, I'm going to object real quick because no one wrote anything down. These are drop-down menus. It's very easy to go from, it's like basically scrolling through your age when you're signing into a website. So don't believe that anyone's written anything down. These terms were created based on the list we provided to Mr. Pepperman and Mr. Parker.
This is the time set for a special master hearing in the litigation that's coordinated for discovery. The lead case is Wren versus Affinity Lifestyles.com Inc. Lead case number is A-21-831169-B. And this court report, if you need anyone to identify yourself, you speak. All right, so I received letters Friday, late Friday, and Teddy, there was no attachment to your letter.
No. There wasn't?
No.
It should only go one page.
No, it said attached is page 9 of 589
Right,
pages.
that's one page. Page 9. It is right here.
I have page 9 from
The copy I
Joel's
saw,
exhibit.
yeah, the copy I saw actually had the 9 attached. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we didn't get anything, but I have the exact same page. This is it, right?
Yep, that's it. Page 9 of 589.
And Joel, where's the typo?
You circle it for you?
Well, just tell me what line.
It's the second.
It's in the second line.
Yeah.
It's supposed to say somewhere regarding hydrazine or something. Okay, I see. All right. So there's a typo in column 3, document type on page 9 of 589, page attached from James Michaels.
Well, it's my letter, but yeah, she's the Easter designee by our firm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. So, and this, Mr. Parker's led to you wanting to take the attorney step up?
Yeah.
Let me just give you a little history. The only time I authorized an attorney step up was when an attorney went through a box full of documents, drafted a 50-page complaint on its own. I said, you've got to allow this deposition. I was reversed in pain.
I get it. Floyd, let me tell you, the deposition is the last resort. I'm hoping there's something between that and the deposition that we work this out. So I spoke to Joel about this before, of course, sending the letter out to you. But let's just make sure we're clear on what the issue is. Okay?
Yeah, I don't understand. If you have the document.
That's a good question. Let's start.
Yeah, okay. That's my question. If you have the document and they say this is a typo, I didn't understand what the issue is. Are you saying you don't have this document?
I don't know if I have it. No. So let's take a look. So the document, the page 9 of 589, Floyd, it says, it references an email regarding hydrazine. That's what it said. Okay. And it says the date, February 26, 2018 at 12:50 p.m. You see that as well?
Yes.
You pan to the right?
Yes, that's it.
And it says who the email is from. So when I received,
and I take it that email does to tell Joel, is that from Real Water?
Judicial was a Real Water employee at that time. Yes.
DESOP.
so Floyd, let's walk through it because it makes no sense to me what Joel is saying. Not that Joel is intentionally misleading me. I'm saying it makes no sense when you compare the documents to what we received now. So this says an email regarding hydrazine sent by Mr. Desitel, February 26, 2018 at 12:50 p.m.
Should we show you the Dustin's email?
You're breaking up, Matt.
No worries. Sorry, Teddy. I thought I was muted.
Oh, no worries. I'd like to know what you're thinking, though. That's great.
No, you don't.
Well, I like what I heard. So, Floyd, the bait numbers on the left shows the bait, starting bait number and the ending bait number. That document's right here. And when I look at this document, the word hydrazine is not mentioned. Okay? And the timing is not identical to the timing referenced here. So,
may I see it? Because
of course you can. Of course you can. So, I'll let you read that, and I'll.
Yeah, it's 2/26/18, but it's at 7:50 p.m.
That's right. And this one says 12:50 p.m. So it's not the same document, number one. Number two, Floyd, when I compare that to what Joel believes the document to be, is this document. This is what Joel refers to.
No, that's wrong.
Hold on, you gave me the bait numbers here in your document.
But you didn't understand what I was saying.
Okay, well, I'm sure you'll correct me, or we'll correct this.
But that's wrong. Why confuse Floyd? I
We
can
go-
explain that in
Well,
2
hold on.
seconds.
Your letter says real water 281-418-281716.
No, it doesn't. My letter further says that this is the wrong document, that you and I had a misunderstanding on the phone.
Okay, so
Why confuse the issue?
So,
that's-
but wait a minute. So, Mr. Odou, you're saying that is the wrong document reference?
Yeah, that was a document. No, I'm saying in my letter, I explained that that's a document that Teddy and I discussed on the phone. And I told him I didn't have the document in front of me, but I would find it. And I said, there's a way to search text. And I searched text and I found that other document. So we're already getting mixed up. That document has nothing to do with what Teddy is talking about, the index. Nothing at all.
Okay, so let's take that, Floyd, for what it's worth. When I go through.
Well, let me just cut through this real quick, and Teddy, you can have as much time as you want, but
Perfect.
do we have the real water document date number 266-472-266474? Do we have that document?
I don't know. Let's ask real water.
Give me the numbers again, because
It's the
obviously
one
we're getting confused.
It's
here.
the one off of 9.
266472 through 2664744 is attached as the exhibit 5 in my letter on Friday.
Okay, so then let's go. Your letter, your 4.
5.
Oh, sorry, your 5. And that's the letter I just gave you, Floyd. That does not reference hydrazine.
Does not.
So again,
Isn't that why they want it corrected?
so that's the problem, Floyd. What I've heard now in this letter from Joel is that his attorney, whoever this attorney is, I believe it's a male because that's how Joel referred to him as, was somehow confused while listening to some other deposition. You don't know what deposition that is, and came up with these dates, this time, and this reference. I want to know how someone could be that confused. And if they were that confused, where is the real document? And if they're, well, then someone was so confused that they wrote this down, Floyd, that's very difficult to believe. And when you,
Floyd, I'm going to object real quick because no one wrote anything down. These are drop-down menus. It's very easy to go from, it's like basically scrolling through your age when you're signing into a website. So don't believe that anyone's written anything down. These terms were created based on the list we provided to Mr. Pepperman and Mr. Parker. That's simply that. This is not a creation by someone at our firm.
Here's my issue. The index at page 9 of 589, second row, indicates that it's indexing bait number 266-472 to 266-474, which I have in front of me. It indicates regarding hydrazine, which they have said is a mistake. It doesn't indicate indicate hydrazine, so it apparently is a mistake. But the issue you have, Mr. Parker, is that the description of the email has February 26, 2018 at 12:50 p.m. And this email is February 26, 2018 at 7:50 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Can we just be clear on the document type? Are they saying that emails regarding hydrazine is a selection on a drop-down menu in creating this document? No one has to type in emails regarding hydrazine?
And if that's what they're saying, that's different than the conversation Mr. Odou and I. The Odou and I conversation was that an attorney in his office actually inputted the information incorrectly. When you read page 3 of the letter, it says, the undersigned has spoken with the attorney who prepared this index. And they made a typographical error when they wrote this entry, to the best of that person's recollection. They believe they were listening in and monitoring a deposition while working on the index and wrote in the words regarding hydrazine. So, unfortunately, this letter does not comport with what Mr. Kaufmann is saying, and it certainly does not make sense in terms of not only the regarding hydrazine, but the time. No one made up that time. There's got to be an email that has that time on it at the very, Mr. Jordan.
February 26, 2018 at 12:50 p.m.
Yes.
And
I can explain that.
We'll let him finish.
And I hope you can. Regarding hydrazine, because it's hard for me to fathom someone making this up, making that mistake regarding hydrazine while listening to some deposition. I'd like to know what deposition that person was listening to see if it had anything to do with regarding hydrazine, number one. And I'd like to know, because there was no affidavit attached to Mr. Odou's letter from this attorney indicating how this mistake was made. And that's why I'm really concerned when it says, to the best of that person's recollection, this is what happened. So if we can find that email, I would love it. And if Joel has it, I would hope that he would get it.
So first of all, we've now moved on to a new topic for today, which is the claim that the email as in 266472 is not the email of that draft lawyers. Let me make clear that is the email. First thing. Second thing is now we've moved on to a new topic about the time difference between what is on the index and what is on the document. I need to see the document because I pulled up in the depository the original document.
I have the document that's referenced in the index.
Correct. I pulled up the one in the document repository, the way it displays in the document repository.
Is it the same date number?
It is the same date.
What date number is that? 7-2.
It is at date number 266472. So when you review the document in the depository, and I don't know why this doesn't say that first. When you review the document in the depository, what I'm doing right now, it uses UTC time, which I don't know if that's some kind of universal time. But I am looking at this exact email, and it says at the top, Jeffrey does, I'm looking at a viewer, not the actual document. So this is a viewer the way our attorneys see it to review this. And it displays the time as Monday, 2/26, 2018, 12:50. 32 p.m. for in UTC 07. But why is the time difference? I do not know. The exact same document. I pulled it up on my screen. I'll show Floyd. I'll show Mr. Parker. But again, had you raised this issue on our meet and confer, I could have gone with the depository and say, why does it show one time in relativity and a different time in the printed document? Because I don't know the answer to that.
It's the same. I
just
note
raised
for the
it,
record.
but there it is.
I'll note for the record that is the same document as Real Water 266472.
Why does it do that? I do not know.
So then the question becomes, how do we explain why someone would take this document that does not include the word hydrazine and put regarding hydrazine? And we don't have an affidavit.
Well, wait a minute, one topic at a time.
Well, I think,
I'll get to
Joe,
that.
I know you want to characterize it as more than one topic. It's all one,
It is not.
it's all one item on page 9. That's all it is.
We did not do a meet and confer on time. Now you're asking me, why is the time different? I'm trying to
Okay,
explain.
we've answered that. So
It's different because when they review the documents.
no, I have the answer.
But I think it's important to provide the time. When they review the documents, they review it in a program called relativity. Relativity, for whatever reason, seems to convert the time to UTC, which is universal something or other.
Yeah, UTC is the replacement to GMT. So it's
Yeah.
universal.
So I don't,
General meeting time.
so I don't know why
Green
relativity does that. But it does. So that explains why the times. It's the exact same document because we can look at the text. The other thing that it does, which is annoying, is it doesn't show me the bait stamp in relativity. But I'm looking at our bait stamp document because I can go to a different screen and get the bait stamp. Now, your next question, which is about why did the person write in or click in I do not know. Mr. Kaufmann can probably explain exactly how you label a document. I can't. I didn't do the actual indexing that Mr. Kaufmann did. So he can explain what was on a drop down. Matt, do you want to
Sure.
explain how that
So,
works?
Floyd, just so you're aware, relatively, I don't know if you've ever used relatively and direct relativity and Hollow before, but what they do is as you are coding documents, and in particular in a case like this where we're coding large amounts of documents, the drop-down list is populated as different attorneys and people work on it. So their drop-down list is quite long. In addition to selecting something from you look at the email. First, I'd like to start by saying that Hollow provides the information that the to from timestamp is all pulled electronically from Hollow, and Hollow provides that to us before we even start reviewing our documents. The attorney has to select the topic, which in this case, in the email we're talking about, is someone accidentally put in hydrazine. There is a way to both select a document and you can add attorney comments at the end that will also be included into that. So that might be where the hydrazine came from.
You're saying that, wait just a minute, you're saying that
Sure.
when an attorney is preparing the index or reviewing this document, they have a drop-down menu for your indexing purposes.
That is correct.
And they click on whatever topic or topics are referred to in that email. So later when they search, they can find it.
Yes, that is correct. And Hollow also scans the email. It has been scanning the documents, so the documents are also searchable by word.
Who made the mistake?
On the index,
Yeah.
me. I'm the one who approved the
topics.
index, and I'll fall on my sword on that. I missed the word hydrazine. If I had seen that, it probably would not have been produced because I would have checked that email right away and changed the coding.
So you're saying you must have hit the wrong topic when you were coding this email?
I don't know if I coded the actual document itself, but I reviewed the index before the index was produced, and I will accept responsibility for the index. And since I am the attorney handling it, I can look back and find out who actually physically coded this, but I don't have that information at the tip of my fingers, Floyd. I'm sorry.
It wasn't Mr. Kaufman that coded that. It was one of our attorneys who made a mistake.
Teddy, if the document doesn't contain the word hydrazine and they're acknowledging the index is wrong, what's the issue?
That's the issue, Floyd. They're acknowledging a typographical in the letter. They're
No,
acknowledging
the typographical in the index.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The typograph, I'm talking about his letter, he references typograph in the entry. So from what I take from the letter says, and wrote in the word. Someone actually wrote that in as opposed to bringing down a drop down. That's what this letter says. So that's different than what Matt is saying. I don't know which one's correct. I'd like to know, hold on, Matt. I'd like to know which it is. Is it somebody wrote it in wrong? Is there actually a drop down menu? Because that's not what this letter said. I'd like to know how this person can say he was listening to monitoring a deposition while working on the index and wrote in the words regarding hydrogen. I would like to know what that deposition was. Is it a real water deposition? Because I'd like to be able to trace it to whether or not hydrogen is being discussed in that deposition. It does not make sense to me. So I will forego the deposition of this person. If this person, I'd like to know the person's name. I'd like to know the deposition that was being taken. I'd like to see if there was any correlation. Because I don't want to take someone's deposition. That would be the last thing I wanted. But I do want some confirmation, but I believe there's a chance, given that to the best of that person's recollections, what happened.
Okay, let me ask this. Mr. Odou, will you produce an affidavit from the person who prepared this entry to explain how the error was made?
The person doesn't know. There's no way for us to know what date this document was reviewed in the hundreds of thousands of pages of documents. There's just no way. So
what you're telling us then, or what Matt Kaufmann is telling us, is this is the method of putting the description on the index, is that you use a drop-down menu.
both. There's a drop-down menu. There's the ability to type in words. And we don't know, maybe Matt knows.
Hang on. Let me, I'm actually gonna give me a minute. If you want, I can actually log in. I'll log into Halo and I'll show you what we're dealing with if you'd like, Floyd, if that would make it easier for you.
That doesn't make it easier for me, Matt, only because I'd like to know what Floyd was just about to ask Joel to do. And this may take care of it. This person may have written it in, and I'd like to know how that happened. If he used a drawdown from a list of entries, I'd like to know that. I'd like to know the deposition he was monitoring to see how that could happen. And I'm saying I'm foregoing the request to depose him. I don't want to depose the person.
I told you the only time I allowed.
Right.
We got this conversation yesterday from the Supreme Court, so it isn't going to happen unless the court orders.
Listen, we had this conversation. Mr. Pepperman and I had this conversation yesterday. I don't want it. All I want is to figure this out.
Matt, is there any way to determine who prepared that row on the index?
So, but just to correct something, what happens is our attorneys are reviewing individual documents that is coded. Then that coding, and I'm sorry I don't have my camera on. I'm not wearing a suit right now, Floyd, and I don't want to be disrespectful. But
we see your glamour shot.
It's much better than the real one. They code the individual documents, and then Halo takes the data that from the individual documents and produces the index for us, and then I review the index. So that's why I'm saying Joel's letter could have been worded a little bit differently. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make a distinction, and I don't think I'm doing a very good job here, Floyd.
Let me interrupt you. My understanding is when the person at the firm, at your firm, reviews these emails, including the one at Real Water date number 266472.
Mm-hmm.
When they review it, they identify it on the index, and they use a drop-down menu to put the subject or the description so that it can be determined later what that document was when you conduct the search.
That is correct.
That seems reasonable.
And that's why, given what he said, I think it's reasonable what you were about to ask. And I will do that and forego any need to take this deposition. You have to get the application.
So you need an affidavit from whoever prepared that road to verify what Matt just told me.
Exactly. Because if Matt's correct, which I found his statement to be even more confusing, but if Matt's correct, then the person who created that entry may have been looking at a document and said the document regarding hydrogen and then put the date on it. That's also a possibility now. So a possibility that I'd like to have figured it out by way of deposition declaration.
Actually, Teddy, that is impossible because when they review the documents on Halo, what pops up is a single document along with a column on the right side. that has the selections in it, the coding selections. So they're not going to be looking at more than one document at a time. So just to clarify.
No, I understood that part, Matt. But if you're looking at a document, if you see a document and it says something regarding hydrazine, and you have the ability to write in regarding hydrazine and the time when you create the index, that's a possible way of why we have what we have in front of us. I'd like the David or declaration explained it.
Don't interrupt. We have a court reporter.
And that's all I'm asking for.
Is there another email that was produced at 12:50 p.m. on February 26th?
That is the same email. You can see it, how it displays.
But it displays on Holo one way.
It displays in relativity, universal, whatever. And I don't know why the times are different. I have to ask all of
But I'm looking at that on the screen, and that's a direct, that screen is a document directly from Holo, correct?
Yes.
And it does show that time.
And that's the thing. That's the other thing that's very confusing. If a person is looking at that time using UTC, and he sees that a different time than what we have, then that would be reported. But now you're accepting two different things. You're accepting that the time is correct, but regarding hydrazine was not. Or
I'm looking at the document. I'm looking at the bait number.
And me too.
Well, what's your confusion? There's no word hydrazine in it.
That's the point, Floyd.
So we made a mistake on the index.
That's what I want a declaration saying. I want a declaration from that person telling us, because what we have from this letter and what we have there are inconsistent. One says it was written in, the other one says it was a drop down. One person said it's a recollection, he's looking at it, he was monitoring some deposition. What deposition?
I don't know.
For example, let's say the deposition was a deposition involving this case. The word hydrazine was never mentioned. I want to know what type of graphical error, how this came
He
about.
just explained they hit the wrong click on the drop
That's
down
what
menu.
he says. That's not what this says. And it also says to the
You
best
think
of
he
their
actually
recollection.
hand wrote a 589 page?
No, I think he wrote I think whoever's working on it, and there's several people working, and I don't doubt that for a second, because it's a list of 589, it's a 589 page list with documents identified. But someone wrote that in. And I want to know how that person made that mistake.
Well, they corrected that since someone clicked the wrong topic.
That's what he is saying. That's not what this letter is saying, Floyd.
Well,
and is saying to the best of their recollection. Why wouldn't the declaration solve this problem?
Can we find out who actually made that entry?
Thank you.
I have a suspicion who made the entry. I don't know if they were listening to a deposition or not. That is an assumption that they made. Trying to figure out.
Can we get a declaration from that person? Verifying what Matt said.
Yeah, that it's a mistake. I don't know if we can pin down when that person was doing the review, because we had, at one point we had more than 20 people trying to review these documents that be done in time.
So
I don't, wait, let me just finish. We've operated under the assumption that whoever was doing this was listening in on a deposition. I'm not so sure that's correct based on looking at the raw data now in Holo, but I don't.
That's what I said. Let's get this cleared up.
And let's have an affidavit from the person that entered the second row on page 9, 589 pages that are identified as AffinityLifestyle.com Inc., DBA Real Water, LLC, and Real Water Inc. And it has the lead case number, and it's exhibit 5 to
4.
I brought it with.
The email is 5, the index is 4, it's attached to Teddy's letter.
It's also attached to Mr. Parker's letter that was served May 24, 2024 at 1:09. How soon can we get that?
I don't know if the person is in the office, but by the end of There's one other thing I'd like to say on this one. I have looked at emails both before and after that appear on our index, and they're all regarding the same subject. The Dust-to-Tell email about 28 millimeter blue cap. There's a whole series of emails that appear before and after this email that talk about the same subject, which is Real Water was buying bottle caps.
And Kenny, I didn't get all of your exhibits. Just so we're clear for the court reporter, for our record, this was what exhibit number was it to your left?
I simply brought with me just in case. I brought page 9 and I brought the actual Real Water 266472.
And what exhibit was it to your letter, Joe?
The index is exhibit 4 to my letter, and the emails are.
All right, so let's get that affidavit as soon as possible.
The only other issue that we raised that was addressed by Joel for today is the overall production of Real Water. And Joel cleared a few things up in terms of what done in January of this year, the present. My concern, Floyd, is this 589 page index given to us as Real Water's 20th in RCP disclosure. I don't know why we don't have an index like this of the entire production, maybe because of how expansive the volume of documents are. But I'd like for us to discuss here and now, so we can get this under control, how we deal with searches going forward for the remaining cases. Joel said that he invited plaintiffs to come up with a list of search terms for purpose of ESI discovery approach. And one thing that Judge Hardy raised was utilizing that ESI approach. So I don't want that to be an impediment going forward, certainly. So I'd like for us, we can provide Joel with our ESI proposed approach. And I just like to schedule time so we can come back here and we can agree on, so we don't waste much time. We can probably get that to him by Friday, I would think, latest. I'm looking at Mr. Pepperman.
So we're talking about, I think we can do it mutually or simultaneously for both Real Water and for the plaintiffs to provide their electronic service index topics for searching.
Right. And while Joel and I disagree about the importance of this ESI search for our current case, because although distributors, retailers, and sellers are not involved in current cases on trial today, I believe it's still relevant because their Real Water's indications of those sellers, retailers, distributors also impact what they were doing in this community, and it certainly impacts perhaps their knowledge of issues with their product. And of course, we all know it also pertains to our punitive damage. So we will do our best to get this to Joel as soon as possible. Joel, you have any problem with it, let us know. But I'd like to schedule when is our next next special matter?
We don't have one. I'll set one now.
Can you set one now for this time next week?
I'll see what I have next week.
Okay.
I don't have my calendar from me now, but I'll set something next week.
Sounds great.
Yeah, probably in the morning.
It's my belief, Joel, correct me if I'm wrong here. Joel, when we first discussed this issue, Joel said that, I think, I don't know if he used the word pending, but that Real Water would be amenable to, of course, carrying the cost of the search, these extensive hard drives. So I don't want to make it more difficult and to do so. We'll try to get something. I appreciate you stepping. I think that's all I had.
I don't know what I had next week, but I'm sure I can try to squeeze something.
Okay, thank you.
You're gonna be in trial.
we're gonna be in trial, but
But
I
we're gonna
also,
start until then.
I also am not sure I understand what's being.
ESI topic.
That's right.
So just ESI topics for basically a new search. These documents.
Well, the reason why,
And what are we searching?
I brought that. So Joel believes, I think, that the documents that we discovered during the Morrison trial are actually within the Polo documents. We don't know that to be true because we don't have an index that actually identifies the documents in the way that we figure it out. So ultimately, I think we're entitled to an index as opposed to what I would consider a data dump in the form of several hard drives with Polo. So we received during that trial on Woodson about 300 pages of documents from Terrapins. And they're in this binder right here. And when we looked at those, I could not find these documents in the indexes, 589 page index. But that doesn't mean, like Joel was saying, that they're not in the documents produced. So instead of me simply accusing him, not him, but his client, of not producing all documents, I want these documents to be found by way of a search, perhaps through an ESI read upon search language, that the documents that Herbst produced, but they should be in real waters disclosures as well.
Well, that's why we're doing the ESI is.
Bingo. So that's the reason why. So, and that would, I would think that would be also relevant to every other seller, distributor, or retailer of real water products. So that's what we're trying to get to. Okay.
I'm still, I think I'm not understanding all of that. I'm trying to understand the scope of what we're doing. So, because you changed it, we're starting about our original production and then talking about subsequent production or search, really. Search. So the ESI protocol is to research the electronic data from real water. Like basically, we're going to take I'll use a hard drive as an example. We're going to take a hard drive and we're going to run a new search for different terms than we've already searched. Is that correct so far?
That is correct so far.
Okay. And then you also wanted a search of what was produced or not, or does it not matter?
That's one way of looking. These are the actual documents that Terrible Herbst gave to us during trial.
Right.
I've not found these documents in your production, at least based on that index, or identified in your previous 16.1 school. So if they're there, you should be able to find them through a search. If we find out during the search that you can't find them, then perhaps real water didn't produce all the documents. And that's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah. Is there an exhibit that you're pointing you're showing us approximately 300 pages of Terrible Herbst documents that were produced in the Hunwartson case, correct?
That's correct.
Do they have an exhibit number?
They have a bait number. And the
bait
bait,
number?
I sure will. It's TH 002406 through TH 002636. Those are.
Good.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
Here's why that's not workable. If you look at my letter, Floyd, exhibits 1 and 2 are the emails in the Herbst production that appear to be emails from Drink Real Water. That's what we were searching for to begin with back in February. So if we want to run a new search on I'm using the term generic hard drives from real water, I have no problem with that. I just want to know, are we searching the data already gathered from those, or are we conducting a new search of the hard drive? Because I think a new search of the hard drives would be a better way to go. Don't.
I think he's trying to,
No.
the reason he's trying to do the search to produce documents to determine if bait number TH002406, bait number TH002636 was produced previously before the trial.
Bingo.
I don't know.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do know that we could research the hard drives for 2406, 2407,
Through 263.
not through, no, because a lot of those documents are not with the water documents.
Some of them are not.
284, TH 002384, and those previous ones that I mentioned. So basically, of those terrible documents, we looked through, I shouldn't say it, of those terrible documents, there were two exhibits attached to Amy Jones' deposition with very specific bait numbers, very specific dates. That's what the data was searching for. And I think the hard drive should be searched again for it.
That's not. We just you hit the nail on the head in terms of what I'm trying to figure out. Floyd. Joel is candid enough to say he doesn't know one way or the other. Let's just figure it out.
There's no reason they would need to wait on the SLP. Certainly, we have multiple searches have been run on the data. We've not found multiple before, so I have no problem giving those two emails to Paulo right now and saying, go ahead and start with these two, find these two in the electronic data drives that recovered from the one.
So you're saying in the documents marked TH002406 to TH002636, there are only two real water documents
That I've seen.
Yeah, there's more than two. That he's seen. He may only see. I'm sorry, but there's more documents.
So we need to do the ESI protocols, but also to cut through this instead of searching a bunch of documents we don't need to. Can real water determine if these documents, bait numbers I just read, were actually previously produced?
And I don't know if they can. It wouldn't be up to real water, it would be up to a tech at Paulo whether they can find that or not.
And they could have been previously produced by Herbst.
They could have been. They were just produced during trial. That's the problem.
But we don't know if they were previously produced.
No, they had not been produced. We have an email that led us in that direction. We had an email that we saw during trial saying we found these additional documents, 11 documents. And that's how we knew they had not been previously. Which also led us to say, why hadn't real water produced them as well? Now, we don't know if they're part of the hard drives using Joel's words that are applicable, but we need to figure that out.
Joe, can you determine, or do you know now, if you can determine if those bait numbers were previously produced by Herbst and or by you?
I know they were produced by Herbst. That was testimony in the prior case. I do not know if they're in any of the water's productions. I know that the goal when we ran the searches in February 2024 was to try and find them. And I don't know if we did, but I do think there's no harm in follow the search again on the hard drives plural to see if they can find those particular collection of emails. The emails are from Amy Jones to people at Herbst. They're around July of 2019, and they refer to running ads on.
And that's why they were attached to her deposition.
Right.
There were also some in 2019, 2020, 2021 when recall was done. So there's like 11 that we used for trial. So there's at least 11.
Well, I don't know that the recall email is from real water. I remember the recall email was between terrible person of real water or something.
Now I'll give you one, I'll show you one that. This is 2380. Take a look at this one. This is a real water station area.
Well, that's not within the numbers you gave me.
I'm sorry, if I gave you didn't give you a complete list.
You gave me 2406, 2636.
You know something, I reorganized it whatever. I have to be full-page numbers, but this is, I'll give you an example. See, so these types of documents should have been produced or have been produced, we can't find.
But it's not within the.
I'll give you the, I'll just give you a full copy of what I have. That I can make them copy. But I had them
I don't need
organized.
a copy, just need the number.
Okay, I'll get you that.
So you're both going to try to produce your ESI topic list as soon as possible.
Yes,
And the minute they're produced, you'll conduct a conference between the two of you to see if you can agree.
yes.
The document you've handed me, which is TH 002388, TH 2346, they appear to be related to real mixed martial arts, which is a entity that was controlled, my knowledge, by the ground off. I don't know if, first of all, I don't know the date of the letter for real mixed martial arts. I do know the other letter for 2346 is in November of 2020. I believe by that time, Amy and Brett Jones were
This should help.
out of the country.
This help. This is, you know, the June 22nd. References the real MMA.
So 2016 documents. My only point is 2021 documents. I don't know that we're Waterhouse.
Well,
Business wound down.
So that's my point. Our span of time, we're suggesting is at least a 10-year span of time. And we should be able to find them.
When did Real Water cease business?
Operations really wound down in March of 2020.
And when did the bankruptcy petition come?
August of 2020.
All right, well, let's get together, you two, on the ESI, and we'll worry about where we're going to search and how after we get the topics done.
Sounds good. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate it.
All right, is there anything else?
That is it for me.
That's plenty.
So we're going to look for some type of an affidavit regarding the mistake on page 9 of the index.
Yes.
Thank you. Anything else on the record?
Enough, Roy.
Anything else from you? Just a minute.
What other
Wait. Mr. Go
Mine
ahead.
has nothing to do with real water.
Um,
Mine has to do with terrible. I've had a conversation with Valerie Rojas, and I don't know if she's on. Valerie, are you on?
Anyone for terrible
I
Herbst
am.
on?
Okay.
I am Teddy. Yes, I am, Mr. Hale.
Okay. So I spoke with Valerie on Thursday. I think we can come to agreement. She's going to provide dates for our expert, our ESI or computer expert to go over, evaluate their server system. I don't know if they've got a server-based system or it's a cloud-based system, whatever it is. And I said we needed 2 days. She's going to give me 2 days to do it. We're just going to schedule it among ourselves and get it done. So I think we're okay on that issue.
Why don't you just, well, if you're working together right now, I don't need to get in the middle of it. If there's a dispute or a problem, somebody send me a letter or an email and I'll get the two of you on the phone.
Yeah, I think we're.
Sure. And Teddy, you have those dates in an email. You probably haven't had a chance to check on it, but there's an email in your inbox with some proposed dates. But yes, we will work together on that.
Sounds great. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Any of you Zoomers need anything else? All right, I think we're done. Thank you.
Thanks, Lloyd. Thanks for putting this together. Thanks, Joel.